Hello everyone, this is Afzal. Today I will create a disk encryption policy in Intune. So this is for uh, beginners uh, who just try to learn and uh, like fully trying to fully understand the disk encryption policy, how they can implement. So there's different scenario, and you can implement this policy according to your need. It's not like you can uh, configure this policy with the you know with the standard configuration, and it will apply to all the environment. So I will show you and will let you know like which policy you can pick according to your environment, right? So let me create a new policy, and I will explain the each option, and you can check your environment and then apply it accordingly. Because I feel when I try to create for the first time, I have to read a lot of like detail of each option, and then I apply it accordingly, and I saw some error and then I fixed it after reading each detail. So in this video I will explain like how what option you should choose according to your environment, right? So let's create a policy, disk encryption policy. So first you need to select platform like Windows. I will explain for Mac disk encryption in my next video. But for this video, let's focus on Windows disk encryption policy. Right. So select BitLocker, created. Okay. And then you can say test disk encryption. Right. Oops. Encryption. Right. So here you need to see what we need to configure. First, device encryption, you will enable this, right? Enable it. And here you need to see if you want to allow warning for other descriptions. So here, so if your devices are intra joined, right? So you need to disable it, right? So what it will does, if you disable it, it will encrypt the drive without any warning to user, and it will not show any notifications. So this will be actually seamless encryption. This is for if your device is intra-joined or hybrid joined, right? I will make a separate video for intra-register and intra-joined, but for now, just make sure your device is intra-registered or intra-joined. Uh, Suppose your device is intra-joined, so you will disable it, right? So it will not show anyone. If you enable it, right? So I either your device is registered or domain join, it will uh, like uh, notify the user, like click on it and enable the BitLocker, right? And user might cancel it, right? So there is no control in Intune which says like user can't cancel it. The user has to enable it anyway. So there is no control. So if you want to seamless, then you should go for disable warning, and it will encrypt automatically without any notification. Allow standard user encryption. Let's say user don't have any admin rights, so you can uh, enable it. So I would suggest to leave it enabled in all the environment, right? So configure password rotation. So this is another scenario like it's depend on the intra register and intra join device. So it should rotate the password on either on Azure joint device or Azure or Hyper join, mean domain join. It will rotate on domain join. Intra register it will not rotate, and if you enable it, rotate it, and the device is intra registered, so it will throw an error, right? So if you can select according to your environment. So let's say on Azure AD join device, right? So select this one. Next. So you can leave this not configure and use this by default. Their uh, strength for the BitLocker. If you don't not configure, it will use by default. So I would say not configure it, right? Unless there is a specific requirement. So enforce drive encryption type on operating system. So if you enable it, right? So they will choose like either allow user to choose full encryption or use space only, right? So I would say if you choose use space only, so it will uh, enable the encryption much quicker than the full encryption. Like the companies, some compliance companies required full encryption, but if you use space, not any compliance requirements, you can go with the use space only, right? So it will be much quicker. It will take like depend on the space utilization, it will encrypt the drive. And if you even if you go with the full encryption, it will not affect the user if he restart the system of during encryption. So it will not matter. Use space is just to complete the encryption in a short time, right? So you can say use space only. Okay, so don't select allow user to default because then it will prompt to user. So we want to enable it silently, right? Then this one required additional authentication at startup. So if you must enable it, right? If you enable it, it will require additional authentication at startup, like if you set up a PIN or TPM, right? And now these days every laptop has a TPM module, right? So uh, if you set a PIN, it will still prompt to the user, but you will say required additional authentication at startup, but use the TPM, not the PIN. So you can leave this false, like it will this option low BitLocker without the compatible TPM. So if any laptop doesn't have the TPM module, it will uh, it will ask user to set up password. Another warning, like it will prompt user to set up a password, and we want to do it automatically. So leave it false. It will not encrypt the password. It will not encrypt the drive if the user doesn't have the TPM module in the laptop. Okay, so next option, startup key with the pin. Okay, so I would say allow startup, uh, allow startup key and pin with the TPM with the first option, right? And configure TPM starter. Okay, so this one, leave it startup key with the TPM. This one, I would say not with the pin, with TPM. Yeah, I will say low startup key with the TPM only. So other option, I will disable those. Oh, actually, this one is the TPM only. This is key with the TPM, not this one. This is the pin with the TPM, key with the TPM, right? To not allow startup key and pin with the TPM. Okay, key and pin. Okay, so this one you have to allow this option only. Allow TPM only, right? So it will use the TPM only. Other options will be disabled, right? Yeah. Okay, so okay, then we leave these options regarding the TPM uh, to not configure, right? Okay, so let's jump to okay, system can be recovered. So you will say to save it, it is actually to save the BitLocker recovery keys. You will enable it and you will leave these options default. Okay, and then the configure this one is to store recovery key, password, and key package. So it will, if you leave it uh, leave it off, it will store the recovery key in Intune and in Intra. If you turn this on, it will store recovery password only, but we want to store the key also. Okay, all right. So you have to enable this one as well. Like, do not enable the BitLocker until the recovery key is stored in uh, you can say Azure AD. Like, whatever the information stored in Azure AD, it will show in Intune. So you will say on, right? Okay. So omit recovery wizard from the BitLocker. So you have to turn this on, so it will not show any setup wizard to user. All right. Okay. Save this BitLocker recovery key information to okay. We have to turn this on. Save BitLocker recovery key. Right. So this is regarding the operating system drive. So this is for the fixed drive, which is your external, like you may be the another partition, you can say, or volume, like D or E. So you have to enable the encryption on that as well. So you will enable the encryption, allow user. You will say use space only. You will say uh, okay, can be recovered. The same options for fixed drive as well. Okay, this one, this one, this one. Just leave these two off and turn these three on, right? And you can, the last option, like do not write access to fixed drive, not protected with BitLocker. So you can enable it. It will not, it will prevent read and write until the drive is encrypted, right? So you can enable it according to your requirement. So these are the uh, standard and if you want to enable encryption silently, then you will choose these configurations. So this is the best practice and it will not show any prompt to the user. And like, yeah, so this is the configuration for the intra join. For intra register, the only changes you need to make is this one, enable the warning. Otherwise, it will not encrypt the drive on a registered device, and you will leave this not configured, right? So, and actually, you can. So, if you have mixed type of devices, so what you will do, you will do this in assignment. Uh, like this the for tag, and in assignment you will say to all devices, let's say you will say to all devices, right? Okay, so you will select all the devices, right? But you can add a filter here. And in filter, you can say like it only applies to corporate devices only, right? Or you can select a group, which you, if it's the intra-joint devices and you have a group, you can assign to this one only. I'm not sure why the assignment filter tab is not working right now, but you can here add a filter, and you can filter corporate devices only. Like intra-joint devices will show as a corporate, and the intra-register device will show as a personal device. So you can, add filter to corporate only, and then you have two policies, one for intra-register and one for the corporate. And then you can filter in assignment filter, like apply this policy to personal device and assign this to corporate device. So that then you can manage these policy in this way, right? So, and you have to apply on all devices, right? Or according to your requirement. Next, you will create and assign it. So I'm not gonna assign it. I already have a policy which is working fine. So this is for the videos only. So you can check, right? And if you have any question, you can leave a comment and I will answer accordingly. If you are facing any issue, just uh, uh, take a screenshot of your configuration and or error and just mention in the comment with the detail, and I will respond back as soon as possible. I will be making more videos on MDM solutions like Intune, JMF Pro, Workspace ONE, uh, and other platform as well, including the 365, email, Defender, like a lot of videos will be coming, and it's on the way. So I will try to create more and more videos, and I will try to create which you could face an issue. And if you uh, like to create another video on any topic, you can comment it, and I will try to create a video on it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.